Thank you very much. So this work is a collaboration between the Focus Ultrasound Foundation and different groups in UVA, so performed mainly by Natasha Sheibani, who doesn't need further introduction, Alexandra Witter, a postdoctoral researcher in Tim Bullock's lab, and Cyril Lafont from France. And I would like to thank the Focus Ultrasound Foundation for supporting Cyril Lafont and myself through the Merkin Fellowship to visit the foundation from our home institution in France. So why are we interested in myeloid cells in this study? Because we know that myeloid cells in tumors are very key players to mount an immune response against a tumor, but also because they can be implied in a really immunosuppressive role to suppress effector T-cell function, to promote tumor progression, tumor angiogenesis, promote tumor invasion, and so on. So when we think about the role of immunomodulation by ablative therapies, and especially by focus ultrasound, as Natasha discussed this morning, through the immunity cycle, we are thinking about different, or we are expecting or hoping different positive effects in terms of release of neoantigens, of increase in danger signals to attract and promote dendritic cells and to the lymph node and promote T-cell activation and priming. And then the expression of cytokines and adhesion molecules by endothelial cells to improve the trafficking and infiltration of T-cells into the tumor. The question we are asking here in this preliminary study is how these signals can impact the myeloid compartment. And in particular, can we alter the representation and polarization of myeloid cells, or to form, for example, from a cold to hot type of tumors that we've seen previously, or are we going to attract more immunosuppressive cells? And we saw during the day that depending on the regimen that is used for focus ultrasound, we can have different response to this question. So in our case, we are interested in, we use the 41 murine model of metastatic breast cancer that Natasha described earlier, because it has a very strong immunosuppressive microenvironment, and a microenvironment which is predominantly composed of myeloid-derived suppressor cells, both on monocytic phenotype and or polymorphonuclear or granulocytic phenotype. So what we were interested in this study is to compare the effect of different ablation regimen. So we used a thermal ablation, a HIFU type ablation. We used mechanical ablation, which is similar to a boiling lithotripsy type of treatment. We used low intensity focus ultrasound destruction of microbubbles. And we also included radiation therapy, single dose of 12 gray in our study, because the effect of radiation on this model has been highly documented. And this is, you can see on the right, a picture of our experimental setup, which is composed of a single element therapeutic transducer, so either at 3 megahertz or at 1 megahertz. And an imaging probe to guide the to guide the treatment. Sorry. Okay, so we did 3 rounds of experiment. In the first one, we compared thermal ablation, lithotripsy, and control. In the second round, we used thermal ablation or microbubble destruction. And finally, in the last round of experiment, we used the radiation therapy. So we inoculate the cells on day 0, we wait 2 weeks, we treat the mice, and 1 week after the treatment, the samples were harvested for flow cytometry analysis. Flow cytometry analysis were performed on tumors, spleen, lymph nodes, blood, and in the panel I will be presenting today, we looked at NK cell, dendritic cells, and so the 2 types of MDFCs, macrophages and macrophages. So what we have seen is that at day 7, with our treatment, we did not observe any significant effect on the tumor rate. We observed the different effects in terms of fold change compared to control in the relative composition of the immune cells within the tumor. And this is the main effect that we wanted to emphasize here today, is that systematically, after the thermal ablation, we observed an increase in the relative proportion of the granulocytic MDSCs. And we observed also the same effect following radiation. So, and this is mainly almost a single significant effect that we could monitor in this study. So why do we recruit MDSCs? We don't know exactly yet. I mean, if we make a parallel with localized radiation, we know that this production or inflammatory response and other phenomena following radiation will attract the myeloid-derived suppressor cells by chemokines and cytokines. It's the same pattern following thermal ablation. This is something that we need now to investigate. So to conclude, we did not observe a strong impact on FUS as a monotherapy on the myeloid compartment in this tumor type and with our treatment regimens, except the effect of thermal ablation on MDSCs. Now, we need to investigate, of course, the functional status of these MDSCs. And we need also to really investigate the impact of the different parameters of the sonication in terms of the percentage of fraction of ablation, the type of modality, because again, as we saw today, this can have a great impact on the response of the tumor. I think the key point we wanted to discuss today is that it seems that if there is an imbalance in favor of immunosuppression in the microenvironment, the focused ultrasound alone may not be able to mitigate or to reverse this myeloid cell polarization, and that might be a possible limit to FUS immunotherapy combination. Now, as discussed by different groups, and especially a group from Professor Ferrar, in this case, we probably need targeted adjuvant therapies to inhibit, for example, the myeloid subset, and this is what we are doing right now with the 41 model with gemcitabine, in order to lift the barrier to FUS-induced immunogenic modulation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions? Well, I'll start by first. I really want to congratulate you. I think, from someone that's not in the focused ultrasound field, comparing the different types in a controlled way to see what changes happen immunologically is, I think, the step that needs to be taken. So am I right in what you've done in all of these different ways of delivering focused ultrasound? You have found that it's really on the MDSCs by thermal ablation is the key change that takes place immunologically, or is that just
yes,
one
in this experiment?
In this experiment.
Yeah,
so you didn't see changes in different compartments of T cells.
These data are being analyzed.
So right now you can't say that. No. But right now you just jumped on that this was the most. Okay.
Yeah.
So your MDSCs were Ly6 positive, weren't they? So they were polys.
Sorry?
They were neutrophils. The MDSCs. Why would you expect to see neutrophils that far out after you did the basically ablation or thermal injury? I mean, you normally would see a neutrophil response very early on and not something 7 days later unless you had continued destruction and so what did the histology look like in that tumor, in those tumors that would drive that, the polys coming in?
It was not hypothesis-driven, if you want, the time point at 7 days. It was more an exploration initially, and so it's really more observational for the moment. We don't have clear explanation of why these MDSCs/neutrophils would invade the tumor 7 days after the treatment.
But you wouldn't expect a neutrophil to be more of it would be more in line with an anti-tumor response because they tend to produce cytokines that would actually cause more of an anti or pro-inflammatory effect. So your MDSCs classically would be more in the immunosuppressive camp,
sure,
or the cold tumor, essentially. So now I'm sort of confused. This is, you have your MDSCs, which a large increase in polys, and I'm still trying to figure out a mechanism why your polys would be there so soon. I mean, so late. I mean, had you taken a point, say, at day 1 or day 3, you may have seen polys, but seeing them that late, that's a different type of immune response that you're trying to generate, and I'm not clear how you're generating that unless it's continued degeneration of the tumor in response to the thermal injury.
Yeah, I agree, and we don't have clear explanation to that yet. Yeah.
Well, if there's no other questions, thank you very much. And I think that concludes this session, except there's going to be a panel discussion next.